Final chapter of the Suzanne Morphew case, ladies and gentlemen. And I wanted to get on here and do a quick video and just kind of express my thoughts. This has been a long haul for all of us who followed the Suzanne Morphew case. But we're, of course, secondary to those closest to Suzanne, like her family, her brothers and sisters, even her own children. So, my condolences go out to Barry's daughters. Very sad situation for them. And also to Suzanne's brother Andy, and her other brothers and sisters. I can't remember all their names, ladies and gentlemen, but just say the entire family. So this has been a crazy journey for a lot of people who have been a part of this. I'm so grateful for the growth that I've experienced over this, what has it been now, like 5 years, a little over 5 years. And I'm sure a lot of people are in the same boat. A lot of changes have happened. When I first started covering the Suzanne Morphew case in 2020, I wasn't really a political person per se. There's a lot of people like that, millions of people, in fact, across this country who really weren't political people, but somehow felt an obligation to stand up for what you feel is right. And that's what I did, ladies and gentlemen. And I know I lost a lot of followers because, for a lot of reasons, we have different beliefs, and that's one of those things you don't talk about, right? Politics, religion, and women. That's what I was always taught. The three things you don't talk about. No, but seriously, I think we need to put our political differences aside. We didn't have a lot of this stuff going on in 2020 when the Suzanne Morphew case first started. And there's no reason to have it today, right now. It's a sad situation, what's happened to our country, this political divide. And it just seems like it's getting, the chasm, the canyon's getting deeper and deeper all the time, it seems like. But for one day, let's put all those differences aside, ladies and gentlemen, and celebrate the fact that we all got together as human beings. It didn't matter what color our skin was, or religion, or political beliefs, or anything. We just all pulled together for one purpose, and that was to try to help bring justice for Suzanne Morphew. And, man, I don't know why I always get choked up on these videos, man. Like, there's just something that always hits me when I start talking about this case, because it was such a special ride to me. You guys really helped me through some difficult times. It was touch and go there for a while. As you guys who followed me the entire time will know, I was spending a lot of time out on the road during COVID. In fact, the whole time I was out on the road. Because when COVID first broke, ladies and gentlemen, it kind of freaked me out, like it did a lot of people, millions of people around the country, around the world. And so I didn't want to be quarantined. I didn't want to be locked up in a house. I feel like I'm too much of a free spirit. And so I bought a van, and I used my red truck too, put a camper on it, put a mattress in it, and started traveling around all during COVID. And it was truly one of the highlights of my life, ladies and gentlemen. Even though it was so hard and so difficult for so many different reasons, a lot of the stuff that I was going through personally. But we made it, ladies and gentlemen. We made it to 2025. And we made it to the final chapter of the Suzanne Morphew case, where now, as you've all seen, Barry Morphew, the husband of Suzanne Morphew, has once again been arrested and charged with first-degree murder of his wife, Suzanne, being held on a $3 million bail. So You know, I feel bad. I feel bad for a lot of people, you know, that are really close to this case, who had an emotional investment. Um, but hopefully this can be like a silver lining, I guess, or a little piece of joy and solace in knowing that maybe, just maybe, the conclusion is going to be what we thought it was going to be all along, and that is that Barry Morphew was responsible for this all along, ladies and gentlemen. And that's sad, very, very sad. I don't know what's going to come out in the trial or the case or whatever, but it's just really sad that it came to that in their beautiful home in Maysville, Colorado. Beautiful family, you know, they had so much going for them. So whatever brought it to that point where, you know, Barry allegedly felt like that's what he was going to do, it's really, really sad. It affected a lot of people, and that's what happens with these cases. And it's really sometimes hard not to get emotionally invested in them because you feel these people's pain, you know, and you just, it's not fun, but, you know, you feel like you're kind of making a difference in a small way, helping these people. Speaking of that, ladies and gentlemen, on a side note, I did speak to Alicia Cordova today. For all you people who are following the Nick Cordova case, I keep in touch with her pretty regularly these days because she's really stirred up a lot of, we call it noise for Nick, around Arizona and pretty much around the world right now. She's on a very steep incline in terms of making noise for Nick. So hopefully she can get justice too. That's what I was telling her today. So I had a couple people email me and tell me about Barry being arrested today, and so I shot Alicia Cordova a text and I said, never give up hope. And, you know, so I still hold out hope for Nick Cordova. And as you've all been seeing in the news, the Lori Vallow case is still dragging on. Man, I'm to the point where I just want that case to go away because I'm so sick and tired of seeing her and just hearing her, and I'm done with that case. But at least so many people got justice in that case and still are. Charles Vallow here in Arizona, who was her ex-husband, Lori Vallow's, who you all know the story, but Alex Cox shot him in a home right here in Arizona, killed him on the living room floor. And then they said it was self-defense, that Charles Vallow was coming at him with a baseball bat. So Lori Vallow is definitely paying for her crimes, you know. I mean, she's locked up for life, but again, I just want that case to go away. But we've seen justice in that case for JJ and Tylee and many others now, Tammy Daybell. Now we're starting to see justice for Suzanne, and hopefully soon we can start seeing some justice for Nick Cordova out of Gilbert, Arizona. And if you don't know about that case, ladies and gentlemen, do me a favor and do Alicia Cordova, the grieving widow, a favor and share his case out on Facebook or whatever. Just try to make some noise for him, because that's one of the things that I helped her come up with. I was telling her, hey, let's just start this campaign. We can put together a vigil. I was trying to put it together because see, Nick Cordova's case happened right before Suzanne Morphew's did. His was right before Mother's Day 2020. It was in March. And so anyway, you know, I've just been trying to still help out with that case too, ladies and gentlemen. That's all I'm trying to say. But yeah, we love these cases. We love these people. And just like we've always believed from the beginning, the universe would balance out and justice would be served. And here we are. I know so many of you are relieved. And I know there's so many people who, over the last 5 years, were attached to this case and whatever. They're no longer with us. You know, we had a lot of old people. No offense to you elderly people. I'm not that far behind you. I have a lot more gray hairs than when I had when this case started. But a lot of our elderly people, I'm sure, have passed on. But hopefully we're all this day in some weird way, or not weird way, but in some way feeling a sense of relief in Barry Morphew being arrested once again for the untimely death of his wife, Suzanne, in Maysville, Colorado on Mother's Day 2020. That's my message to you guys today. I want you guys to know how much I appreciate you. It's been an incredible journey. And I hope that all you liberals out there and all those people from Colorado who stopped following me and who was offended that I stood up for President Trump, you know, just want you guys to know too that, man, all things political aside, it was a great ride, even with you guys, man. And thank you so much for everything that you guys have done for me. God bless you all.